What's up, guys, and welcome back to the NXTGame Invitational. We have Game 2 in the best of 3 between MSI, Evo, and K2.Apes, as MSI do have a one-game lead after a pretty convincing IO Tiny combo game and a lot of good support play from the supporting cast of MSI as well. This is, of course, presented on HeflaTV with a little bit of help from esportgaming.com. You can head over there and place some bets and, as they say, earn real money. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Danelie for this second game. Looks like the bans are going to be progressing pretty standardly, but for K2.Apes, the silencer pick. We were both questioning it super early on. Do you think it was worth it? Do you even think theoretically it was worth it?
I really do not think that Hero had any impact last game. He had the global silence, but that was about it. He did nothing during the laning phase, nothing during the team fight. So if they replaced it with any other support, say for example maybe a Lion, maybe if the Leshrac got through, maybe for a support, maybe even a Lina, just having someone else there with a different role to help in the team fight, I think it would have been so much more different. I think the game would have been much more closer, because you look at those other four heroes, the Queen of Pain, the Spirit Breaker, Storm Spirit, and Bristleback, they actually did pretty well considering what they were given. But I think the silencer pick just really set the whole draft behind.
Right, so they're probably going to not make that pick again, simply just for the reasons of going for the same strategy twice in a row, not something you want to be doing. It is going to be an IO to be banned out in this stage, which is going to give MSI the first pick, Queen of Pain, so it's a pretty solid way to start, although we didn't really see a giant Queen of Pain game last time. They decided to swap the Queen of Pain's lane with the Bristlebacks, K2.Apes, and the Queen of Pain went for Blade Mail Sheepstick build, which is far from standard, but I think when you're in the off lane, a little bit more understandable. It just seemed like the Queen of Pain last game also wasn't quite up to snuff, so hopefully we will see a little bit more of a solid Queen of Pain performance in this game as performed by MSI.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see if this is going to be a mid Queen of Pain this time compared to the... Was it mid Queen of Pain? No, it was actually...
Bristleback in the mid lane
Bristleback mid, yeah.
The IO Tiny combo.
I don't know how I got that confused, but Queen of Pain this time, I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be a mid Queen of Pain. It's going to be a Shadow Fiend matchup, and Queen of Pain versus Shadow Fiend, typically you'd like to see the Queen of Pain win that mid matchup, but if 2K can actually play the Shadow Fiend right and maybe have the Earthshaker rotate into the mid lane for a gank, then they should be able to win that with the Shadow Fiend. The Undying gets through, and what do we know? We're going to get an Undying this game. God, MSI's two heroes already. They're giving me chills.
Yeah, these heroes can do quite a bit of work, even like together as a combo, not like in lane or anything like that, but the fact that Undying, well, Decay like kind of amplifies damage by just like decreasing their health, so you know, percentage wise you're doing more damage. Flesh Golem literally amplifies damage, and Queen of Pain does a lot of damage, so you know, all those things going together work out pretty well for this opener in the mid game, because that's really when they're going to be playing together. In the early stages, they're completely separate, so it doesn't really matter all that much, but it does set MSI on the aggressive pathways. For K2.Apes, they grab the Shaker. This is one of my favorite openings. Shaker Shadow Fiend, that's like second to, I think, Leshrac Shaker. You can land the Fissure, you land 2 raises, and Queen of Pain will sometimes be able to blink out of that. If she does blink out of it, she's going to be really, really wounded, so she has to either chug her entire bottle or go back to the base, or she just dies. So there's, you know, pretty good options there for K2.Apes. They should have this mid lane on lockdown, which is very nice. However, the more time Earthshaker spends on that mid lane, the more freedom Undying is going to have in the side lane roles. So you do have the trade-off there for Apes.
I like all the emphasis that MSI is putting into banning those supports, getting rid of the Dazzle and the Winter Women, so it's preventing 2K from picking up any of those supports that gives you some sort of healing, and even with the Winter Women as well, just having the crowd control with the Winter's Curse would have been an absolute nightmare. So I like those two bans. K2 though, they decided to ban a Lina. I think Lina would have been a pretty good hero for MSI to pick up, because you already see how much damage output there is going to be with just the Queen of Pain and Undying. If you add a Lina on top of that, I think 2K would have just been melted. Phoenix ban though. I think this is a warranted ban.
Really? I mean, it's like kind of nice with the AoE combos that MSI have, but usually you could get some answers to the Phoenix. Maybe it's just in the plan of K2.Apes that, hey, the support hero that we want right now is Naga Siren, because it's good up against Undying, and we really don't want to go up against the Phoenix. Then I think in that regard, if they're going to pick up a Naga Siren here, then this Phoenix ban makes a lot more sense, because Phoenix is not exactly a super strong laner, but up against a whole bunch of melee supports, man, Phoenix can do whatever the hell he wants, and he will be able to get away with it as well. I think even with the Naga Siren, though, it should be MSI kind of okay with that. They will have the Undying struggle a little bit to effectively place that Tombstone, but Naga Siren is, as a support, not really going to be doing all that much, especially with Shaker already on their team. So by picking the Naga Siren, they have to shift the Shaker over to the off lane. It worked semi-okay for MSI, but for the most part, that Shaker wasn't in lane, so it's going to put K2.Apes in a rough position. Now they grab a Disruptor, as opposed to last game where they didn't when they had a chance to up against an IO. Disruptor's fine against Queen of Pain, but he is going to be at the mercy of Undying.
Yeah, I've played a couple of games against Undying as a Disruptor. It's a very, very rough life. So Disruptor is a hero in general, though. It means that K2, they're going to have a lot of killing potential. So, for example, if MSI is running away, you have the Glimpse. And we've seen yesterday as well a Disruptor play, just throwing a really nice static storm in the middle of the team fight, preventing certain heroes from throwing spells, can turn fights in your favor. So this Disruptor pick, it's a great hero. I have no issues with it being picked up. He's just so versatile. The only problem with him is that he has no standard lockdown. So, for example, the Lion now is picked up by MSI. He's got two true disables, with Disruptor only having this static kinetic field. Sorry, but still, the heroes that K2 have so far, they work very well with each other. There's going to be a lot of killing potential. MSI, though, they got full-on aggressive. They've got a Lion who is a very, very aggressive and also a roaming type of support if you want to go in that direction. He's going to be able to go for kills. And what can K2 do to deal with that Lion?
Hope the Static Storm comes first. Hope the Earthshaker is right behind the target and can land a Fissure. Other than that, the lanes, I mean, for K2.Apes, the Shaker Disruptor is a nice little combo. They have a ton of control, but they don't have damage. Okay, never mind, they have the damage now. So this is really what they needed. Gyrocopter was completely ignored in the last game, but now when you have a Glimpse, a Field, a potential Fissure block, and a lot of stunning action from the Shaker, Gyrocopter becomes so much better. So this is a pretty solid tri-lane for K2.Apes now. Even should MSI grab Spirit Breaker right now for an Undying Spirit Breaker aggressive dual lane, or a Drow Ranger. Okay.
Radiant team ban.
I actually don't hate it at all. If they ban out a Clockwork, then it should be pretty good, because Clockwork is still available for K2. They are looking for an off lane now to get on top of the Drow Ranger. If this was not a Gyrocopter picked up right now, I'm pretty sure MSI wouldn't be willing to commit into a Drow Ranger pick, but these heroes that K2.Apes have, not that great versus Drow. Yeah, Fissure is good. Homing Missile is actually pretty good, but it seems like this Drow Ranger, even though she's not with the most ranged heroes in the Undying, it won't be a full 5-man range, that's fine. She will not have to worry about a Slark jumping on her or anything like that, or at least not yet.
I would actually like MSI to finalize their draft with another hero to sit in the front lines. I don't think the Undying is going to be enough, considering the damage output that K2 is going to be throwing out. So, just trying to think, what could they pick up as a support? Maybe an Ogre Magi? Ogre Magi would synergize alright with the Drow Ranger, I guess, considering that you have the buff up from him. Aside from that, though, I think they need something else aside from just the Undying to be in the front lines, because, as you mentioned, you do not want anything to go anywhere near the Drow Ranger. I was going to suggest a Vengeful Spirit pick, but obviously K2 thinking the same thing and banning it out. So I really want something to keep the distance between the Drow Ranger from K2's draft.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, it's we'll see. Like Clockwork, as much as he is good versus Drow Ranger, is also good with Drow Ranger.
Oh, hello.
Okay, there it is. I think the ban here for MSI is justifiable. Like, both these heroes, well, Clockwork kind of makes Drow Ranger's life difficult in the mid game, and Broodmother makes her life difficult in the early game, so you have the trade-off there. It's going to be a Wind Ranger, so they're just going to go for the full-on damage, we're just going to burst you down type of strategy. I mean, ideally, Cass will be going for a 4-staff, or someone will be going for a 4-staff to try to keep this Drow Ranger alive, and it looks like this Wind Ranger actually going to be played by Sleepy, who is, if I'm being told the truth, is going to be Royer. And he was playing the off lane before, so off lane Wind Ranger, that is already not the strongest way to lane this hero. I think mid lane Wind Ranger is definitely the way to go. If it is going to be up against this Disruptor, Earthshaker, Gyrocopter combo, then it will not do well. Like, the only way that Wind Ranger survives that lane is by wind running when she gets into trouble, and as soon as you wind run to get out of trouble, you get glimpsed back. Bad times.
What's your opinion on possibly doing an aggressive tri-lane with the Wind Ranger? She's a ranged hero, she's got the full 600 range, and she's also going to have extra damage backed up by that Drow Ranger. And you look at 2K's heroes, their safe lane, it's going to be okay, but it's not going to be... Oh my god. A team banner.
I hate when teams forget that. It's the worst.
Oh my goodness.
But, okay, Wind Ranger in a tri-lane is kind of awkward. Like, she needs her experience so much. She needs to get maxed out power shot. She wants to have maxed out shackle shot, and you need 1 point in win run. So yeah, you need to get those levels up really quickly. She does offer quite a bit as far as poking is concerned, and as far as tri-lane heroes, there aren't many heroes that can offer you something similar. But I think like she has to get so many kills to make the tri-lane worth it, that the risk is simply not worth the reward. Like, you're gonna get a couple of kills maybe, but it's not going to be enough to make it so that you're going to get more experience than if you were just soloing lane, even if the lane was really tough. But we'll see what they actually want to do, as we do have Shaker being played by Kittle already on a pretty aggressive path. He's going to spot the Queen of Pain. He'll fall back. We also have on the Gyrocopter Haruni playing that hero. Wen is going to be on the Clockwork, with Aji on the Shadow Fiend, Vegeta on the Disruptor, and that is going to be the entirety of K2.Apes.
On the side of MSI, they're going to be playing on the Dire side this time, so we have BB on our Undying. Do I have to try and find the official player names, or am I just alright to do this? Because I don't want to tab out.
Okay, it's going to be Cast on the Lion, that's easy. Piano Man is Chrissy. Saber is Raven. And Sleepy is Royer. And then Boomback's on the Undying. But we're not going to translate that for you guys. You guys know. We'll just say what they're tagged up as, because that's just so much easier for us. And we're lazy.
I think Cast, I'll just remember Cast, that's about it. Because he's the only one.
What an MVP, dude. He's a Cast guy.
I love it. I love it when players do this. It just makes it so much easier for us, and it's also convenient for the viewers, because you know who to keep an eye out on, because you don't know who's the standard.
Seems like K2.Apes, they're familiar with this Earthshaker. However, guys, again, we're being joined by Statman. Big shout out to Petty for providing us with some extra intel. But the context of this intel, you always have to remember the context, because though they do have a decent win rate with the Shaker, they also had a very good win rate with the Silence in the last game. But we all saw what happened to the Silencer in the last game, so it may just be a case of going up against teams that they're just better up against Apes, and that's kind of inflating their score, and they may just be in over their heads in this situation where we have actually dual lanes coming out from the MSI side. The top lane should be pretty cut and dry for MSI. You have two ranged heroes up against a melee hero. Drow Ranger is really good at poking a Clockwork and shouldn't really let this Clockwork have a really easy time. Although 8 tangos, Clockwork can take a lot of harassment and shrug it off.
Kittle's actually in the top lane, so he might be waiting for an opportunity to go for a Fissure, and then maybe just go for the power cogs and the battery assault with the Clockwork. It is a possibility. They're going to throw the Fissure. They've already popped the battery assault. Looks like that might be an opportunity. They see Piano Man. Oh, they do not get him in the cogs, so he's going to be able to get out. Wen's going to break the cogs. Can they chase Piano Man, though? He's stuck in the trees, and Wen's going to have to get away. That was a very unfortunate attempt there by K2. If they got Piano Man in the cogs, then that should have been first blood to the Clockwork.
As nice as it is to go for that type of play, that was actually really fortunate for K2, because the MSI side didn't just turn around and start shooting the Clockwork while he was in those cogs. It was very possible for them to actually just get the kill. If once Drow Ranger got out in the left side, Lion was on the right side, they just opened fire into the cogs, and then Clockwork doesn't stand a chance. So they really have to be careful when they make those types of plays. They're going to try to go again for this dive. Tower focusing the creeps. Fissure going to connect on the wrong side, however. Piano Man will have to tank this creep wave. That's not going to kill her off. Wen does not have a flare. He leveled second level point in the battery assault. Piano Man looking for a deny. That's not going to happen. Kill has mana in like 20 seconds, and Wen, with no flare, is going to have to let the Star Ranger go. And oh, they get the kill on the bottom lane. In the meantime, on the Gyrocopter, no less. Super close in this top lane. Drow Ranger is still going to lead this creep wave absolutely everywhere, but it's on the Gyrocopter where they get the kill ultimately. So yeah, this dual lane is kind of awkward. The Shackle Shot has no setup, but Undying up against these soft heroes, you have to respect that power of this hero.
God, that was so close. It was just that Fissure. If that Fissure managed to actually get the Drow Ranger on the right side, then they should have been able to get the kill on the Drow. But my God, K2, they've got to have this really sour taste in their mouth, and losing their gyrocopter first instead, it really hurts them because it's their safe lane farming gyrocopter who's supposed to be getting farmed, who's not supposed to be dying, but it's just going to be very unfortunate for him. And Sleepy is going to try and fight up against the bomb as well as Haruni and Vegeta. Now he is going to be in a bit of a rough spot. He is going to buy a TP. Actually, he's not going to try and go for it. He's just going to go for the wind run up back into the safety of the trees. And they're going to go for a shackle shot. Not going to connect onto Vegeta. They're going to go for the tombstone though. Do they really want to go for Haruni? He's slowed up. Looks like he should be able to get out of here unless Sleepy has enough mana. And also the cooldown for the shackle shot is off. But unfortunately the cooldown was there. So Sleepy's going to heal up. And unfortunately K2, they're just going to have to reset and reload.
And once you use that glimpse, then the kill power of this dual lane absolutely plummets versus a Wind Ranger. You could still, get kills on someone like Undying, but once the Wind Ranger, gets sent back, she wind runs, and then you just cannot get the kill. She was also shooting the homing missile, which would have been a pretty good way to set up for a potential kill on her, but just having the presence of mind, shoot that one down, and will continue surviving for a little while longer. Now with Boombacks here, this is suddenly becoming, again, a really rough lane for the Radiant side as they may go for a dive. No, they're thinking about it. No Tombstone up just yet, so in 10 seconds they're allowed to go for this dive, but Gyrocopter alone can't do anything. He doesn't have the range to really trade shots with the Wind Ranger effectively, and should he get close, yeah, the Rocket Barrage may land, but then Wind Ranger is going to wind run, and then Tombstone's going to drop, and then things get really bad really quickly. Over towards the mid lane, it's the lane that we haven't really looked at just yet. Saber, for the moment, has a slight CS lead. Nothing really too substantial there, especially with the Shaker potentially rotating in. It's only a level 1 Shaker, and Saber does have a double damage rune. So this could potentially lead to a couple of bad things for the K2.Apes side if Kittle actually shows himself. Fissure's going to connect where the raise is. There's one. Second one not going to be thrown out. Saber, though, with less than 100 HP, if he sticks around here, he may just get sniped. Oh, cutting things kind of close.
Down bottom though, Haruni just going to get picked up by the power shot.
And mid lane, they're going to go in. Sonic Wave onto the Shadow Fiend. Fissure not going to kill the Queen of Pain. Blink forward, Scream. Shaker, one hit, not going to get the kill. Stick charge is already used. They will get the kill on the Queen of Pain. Even trade there, but bottom lane, still the chase is on. One zombie going to barely slow down Vegeta. And Boombacks, he's going to have to let this one go. But they do take down the Gyrocopter again. I didn't see what happened there, but I can only assume it was just a Tombstone tower dive. And now, actually, Haruni, he's looking for someone to missile or kill or something, but he is unfortunately out of range.
That's so messy. There was a fight in the mid lane, there was a fight down bottom, we didn't even know what to do, but Haruni, he just got shackle shot to the tree and power shot to death. We did have the Disruptor TP in to try and help, but he ended up being chased down because he was by himself. But still, more kills going in the way of MSI. K2 though, unfortunately, only sitting on 1 kill. They're not in a bad spot. They have decent late game. They do have some decent comeback ability as well if they can just get this Clockwork to level 6, which he's going to be able to get it after maybe 2 more creeps. And then after that, when he's going to have the hookshot available, and from that point on, I'm expecting K2 to be on the aggressive constantly with this Clockwork. Just go hookshot after hookshot, go for kill after kill, and just slowly assume map presence on this map. Because if they just leave the game as is, there's going to be a lot of heroes on the side of MSI just going around, going for kills, and with the buff from the Drow Ranger, Queen of Pain and Windrunner are going to be hitting hard, not just the Drow.
Yeah, if she gets a quick Aghanim Scepter, this Wind Ranger is going to be an absolute terror right now. Up towards the top, we have a very delicate situation where Cast is waiting right around the corner from Wen. Neither side knows that the opposition is right through this tree barrier. Oh no, never mind. They see Wen right now. He has a hookshot to potentially get out, but he gets hexed up. He's going to have to hookshot to his friendly Shaker if he wants to live. He's going to go instead towards Cast. But still the right clicks of this line in the Drow Ranger, they're going to get this kill regardless. Kind of the aggressive play. I don't really know if that was the right call to make, but Clockwork gonna die regardless, and that was the first hook shot being used to not much of anything. Drow Ranger doesn't even have silence yet. I'm kind of surprised she doesn't have a single point in that, but Shaker, he was in the area to potentially help out, but even he knew that was a lost cause. Down towards bottom lane, Shackle not going to connect. They don't have a tombstone yet. They're going to get the kill anyway with a huge soul rip. Glimpse out. Going to keep Sleepy actually pretty safe. Still taking tower shots, but they will get out of there safe and sound. Man, that Gyrocopter got hit with a massive soul rip. That is level 2 at this point, and there were quite a few units with the creep wave just coming in vision. Sleepy still looking for an angle right now into Vegeta. Focus fire is there. My god, the damage disruptor is disgusting. Has no mana for a power shot, but wind run for the movement speed will get the kill. In the meantime, mid lane, looks like Queen of Pain probably just got dropped by a Shaker combo, but up towards top, Piano Man, he's going to secure the kill on this tower. Looking for Deny perhaps. When in Kittle, not going to happen. Hookshot, not available. And Fissure once again not connecting. And it's not collecting properly. When looking for Cogs, he is not quite fast enough with the hook shot. He'll get close enough, and there's still no gust at the end. He'll actually turn tail and run the other direction, but still the battery assault's sticking on him. And now with Gyrocopter coming in, that's a very dead Drow. It is finally going to be her death, but she does get the tower, and the team as a whole make a pretty good trade. And now Saber. Oh, do you really want to go in on that? She kind of seems like she wants to. Queen of Pain. Yeah, that's a little bit too much.
My goodness. So K2, they managed to get a counter kill. They lose a tower in the process though, so it's not favorable, and it looks like Wen might be in trouble. Just gonna be harassed out by Saber a little bit. Saber almost pushed onto the high ground, but he is gonna bottle up. He would get pushed out a little bit and not gonna continue after Wen. Although it looks like, do they really want to jump on after Saber? Look how much he's dropping down to about 40 HP. They do manage to keep the heroes in place though, so Saber, no, never mind, gets clipped on the edge of the Gyrocopter ultimate, and all of a sudden BB, he's got a haste rune though, but does MSI really want to go into this fight? I don't think this is the right decision. It's going to be there. They're going to try and get cast though. Fish are going to be thrown out. Not going to connect onto anyone important really. Cast though. He still is being seen by K2 because of that nuke. Although unfortunately the disruptor is going to go down in the process, and it looks like RJ, you're very, very, very low HP Shadow Fiend, and he is going to be pursued by Boombax. Earthshaker trying to delay the inevitable, but can he get out in time? Now he will TP out, and the Gyrocopter is just going to be there to throw out a couple of missiles, and he's going to try and make a getaway, although Sleepy, does you really want to go after him? They went in a tree line. He's going to run into the Wind Ranger, and this might be a bit of a pickle, because look at when he just gets shackle shot. They're going to try and finish him off. Who's going to die first? Going to be the Clockwork, and it looks like Sleepy's still alive. The Rocket's going to be there, though. It looks like Boombax is going to chase after the Gyrocopter. They do get the kill onto the Windrunner in the end. Wind Ranger, Boombax still running away from our Gyrocopter. The fight is still happening, and our Undying is finally dead after such a long time.
Radiant's
oh my
bottom
God.
tower has fallen.
Yeah, I don't know. That was absolute madness. K2.Apes ultimately do get a couple of kills, namely on this Wind Ranger, who's having a very, very good time. They also sniped the Undying. They had a chance to get a couple more heroes, but the fissures have not really been working out for the K2.Apes side. They've, in fact, I don't think blocked a single person out properly, and we do see the damage output coming out from the MSI side in force. Like, this Wind Ranger is absolutely dishing at this stage. She has plus 67 damage. Like, it's 10 minutes in the game. If you have 67 base damage, you're already doing kind of okay. They will jump in onto the Disruptor, find that kill, with Sonic Wave still being held, and that was even, for the most part, a fight without the Tombstone. Like, the Tombstone got dropped super early when the fight was still in the North River, and K2.Apes were able to bring that one down pretty much no sweat, but even after disengaging from that one, they couldn't keep up with the damage output coming out from the MSI side, so it is ultimately going to be MSI take a slight lead there. Saber looking for, oh, he's going to potentially wander into a smoke, but this mid lane's an absolute war zone right now, and this is where having maxed out Precision Aura is going to be favoring the MSI side. They will be winning damage trades quite handily. Saber's going to get hook shot, raise 1, raise 2, going to connect, and he's not going to be able to blink out. He was able to blink out of so many previous engagements like that, but not this time. In the meantime, we do have a smoke, however, from the K2.Ape side, or from the MSI side rather. Wind Ranger, not smoked up, is going to be, well, eventually spotted by that observer. So K2.Apes, they're in mid lane in full force. Aji has a double damage rune. Seems like this tower is going to fall, but is there going to be any response for any sort of kills beforehand? Sleepy looking for a shackle. Two-man fissure, though, with a call down as well. Sleepy can take a full-on rocket barrage. That's going to be a free kill there. And Shadow Fiend does get the last hit. Tombstone's going to be free gold for the K2.Ape side. Now Boombax is in a really bad position as well, as tanky as an Undying is. He's not this tanky. He's going to get put into a cage, and he will eventually drop. It's a double kill for Haruni. And for MSI, they made just a really bad call.
I think they're just getting a little bit overconfident with their draft. They're just kind of going in and thinking, hey, we're actually really ahead, we're really strong, we can go into these engagements and kind of feel like we're a little bit more powerful. But K2, they're still playing it safe, they're still staying as a team, they know that they are strong as a single unit, so they just keep fighting like this. And MSI, they've got to get the message that they can't just go in willy-nilly like that. They still have to be careful with how they want to go into these fights, because if you do it like that again and again, you're giving away gold to K2 heroes, and these heroes are no joke. They hit just as hard as the Wind Ranger and the Queen of Pain, even with the Drow Aura.
Yeah, the Shadow Fiend is now going to grab a straight Blink Dagger after Headdress. Not exactly standard, but hey, you could get a mech later. If you find yourself with enough gold for a Blink on certain heroes, you just get that one. Pretty much no questions asked. Although a mech, given the amount of fighting that's occurred, is probably going to be well, I mean, just as good. Maybe even slightly better, you can make the argument for that, but either way, as long as K2.Apes stay together, as long as they use the power of the Fissure, of the Disruptor Glimpse, and of the initiation from the Clockwork, then they should be looking at a pretty good series of fights right now. In fact, they are powerful enough, I feel, to just go as a 5-man group into another Tier 1 tower. While they are 5-man, it's going to make the pick-off potential of Windranger slightly less. Like, she will love to just get a Shackle Shot, Focus Fire someone down, and then straight up get the kill, but it's so much harder when there's 5 heroes around. Call down in the south jungle. Cass can take the full-on brunt of that. Throw a finger towards Shadow Fiend. Power Shot not going to connect. Rooney and disengaged away. Still a Tombstone is available. Boombax charging forward. They really want to go for this one. He's going to drop the Tombstone. One zombie will be spawned. That's kind of underwhelming, and this Tombstone may very well just be farmed by the Ape side for free gold. It won't, but still, they lose the Lion while looking for something that really wasn't there to begin with.
It wasn't just the Lion, but also the Finger of Death. So now that's on cooldown for a good, it's like more than 2 minutes for that on cooldown. So they're going to have a little bit less damage coming out from the Lion. He's going to have to rely purely on the Hex as well as the Earth Spike. Now Sleepy, is he really going to be the main target? Hookshot actually misses. They do manage to get him with the Fissure though, but is there any follow-up by K2? Looks like after that hookshot miss, they're not going to go, never mind, they're going to try and jump onto Sleepy. Hookshot, no, sorry, that's not a hookshot, that's a power shot? Shackle shot. Too many shots. But RJ, he's going to be completely fine. They did try and jump on him, but luckily nothing was able to connect.
Keeping the Windranger alive, she's now going to go for a Force Staff, looking for some way of getting out of those fights. I do like the items rush, but in this game up against a Clockwork, Force Staff is the way to go. They do see the Gyrocopter. They don't have an angle for a Shackle just yet, and it's not going to be there either. If they do land a Shackle, they get the kill because Queen of Pain is right around the corner, but they do see Aji. That's a kill as well if the Queen of Pain is close enough. Shackle not going to connect, however. Focus Fire, will that be enough? Power Shot off the mark, and the Shadow Fiend will walk. Sleepy needs to be a little bit more careful at when he throws out those shackles, but while this is happening, while they're forcing the Shadow Fiend to be a little bit scared, while they're making K2.Apes as a team scared, they have Piano Man who's soloing Roshan at this stage. There's no Focus Fire for Sleepy, which is a little bit awkward, but the damage of Piano Man plus 3-4 range heroes is going to bring down Roshan awful quick. He's going to grab it. It's going to be the Drow Ranger. They may want to go for a tower push off of this Aegis, but I don't think that's going to be the safest play for them, even with that double life.
They don't have to. They're not under any pressure to push down towers as soon as possible. They have heroes that are going to be able to scale, and because they have a Drow Ranger, it just helps the Wind Ranger, as well as the Queen of Pain a little bit more in the right-click department, so they can buy other items to benefit them as well as the team.
There's a Blink on Shaker also. This is something that
and
is not known to the MSI side, and this is a super early Blink on this hero. If they clump up at all, they may very well get wrecked. Cass gonna get hookshot off to the sidelines. Piano Man stuck in the Static Storm, will lose his Aegis super quickly. Sonic Wave's gonna fly through, not do too much. Tombstone on the deck is gonna be saved for a little bit. Echo Slam only have to sleep right now. They'll take down the Wind Ranger. Now Piano Man, we're spawning from the Aegis. Gets the 3-man Gust, which is all well and good. So far 2 for 2. As Saber's gonna get chased down. Blink from the Shadow Fiend. There's no Blink on the Queen of Pain. Now has it, but can't quite cast it. And speaking of cast, he's fighting with Kittle. There's another Fissure up in 1 second. That's guaranteed to land. Not going to do enough damage, but the Blink Dagger forward in 3 seconds. Oh, from the Shadow Fiend, actually. 1 hit, 2 hits. That's a free kill on Cast as well. It's a 4-5 for 2 if you count the Aegis in that as well. And it is MSI just get completely demolished.
That was a horrible team fight for MSI. And that was also with the Aegis as well. So wasted Aegis, they get no tower, they lose 4 heroes, and they only get 2. They only got the Disruptor as well as the Clockwork, so that's a horrible trade for MSI. And now all of a sudden their T2 in the mid lane, is it going to be under siege? I think they're just going to push out the creep wave and Harini's going to back up, so they're not going to lose anything else aside heroes in the process, but that was absolutely horrible. MSI do not want that happening. I think they just got a little bit too ahead of themselves with that mid push.
It's the fact that it was a full 5-on-5 clash that was initiated by the K2.Apes side. They had the hookshot from the Clockwork, they had the Blink Dagger on Shaker, and there is no Blink Dagger on the Lion. And for Cass, he's not getting enough farm to actually get that one in a reasonable time frame. At this point, the only way that I see MSI taking a decent fight is if, you know, this miracle Sonic Wave lands, Undying gets a miracle Tombstone or whatever. But outside of that, they have to get to these single target pickoffs. They need to use the Shackle Shot, they need to use the Hex and the Spike and the Finger of Death to its fullest, because it's going to be difficult to tango with such a big Shadow Fiend who actually now has Yules. This is the weirdest build on the Shadow Fiend I've ever seen. Not because of the itemization itself, but because of the sequencing. It's like, I'm going for mech, now I'm going for blink, and then mech. Now I'm going for blink, Yules, then mech. Who knows, but he has good items, and he's doing a hell of a lot of damage, getting a lot of farms, so as long as he's getting the farm, you can do whatever you want with your sequencing. Up towards top, Wen is going to be pushing that one out, which will force Boombacks, as well as Cast up there, while the rest of the team, they will go for mid. They're actually going to connect to Piano Man right now, looking for a hook shot from the Clockwork. So he's actually up towards top lane. They will jump in with Kittle. That's a pretty bold bluff from him, but he has another fissure in 4 seconds. In the meantime, we have Cass cornered by Wen right now. Cass gonna get an impale off, but that will cost him his own life. Power shot will fly, not do too much. Sleepy gonna try to book it from Kittle, but gets glimpsed back into a missile and a static storm. Pow go the rocket barrage, and that's gonna be Clockwork getting the kill. Blink forward, Kiddo looking for another fissure. Won't find another target, but it's 2 kills in the retreat for K2.Apes, and now they can actually all slide up to the top lane and take that tier 1, maybe even the tier 2, especially if they get Saber. That's the definite tier 2 tower. Saber still remaining kind of hidden. They have a missile onto Boombacks, and it looks like no one else is going to die here from MSI, but the structures will fall.
This is a really nice, crisp play coming out from K2 this game. It's much better than last game. They're running a more standard draft. They're playing very well as a team, and it's really working out in their favor. The Clockwork just TPing out, almost died there.
Structures are fortified.
He's going to be just fine, however. Tower on the top lane is going to be destroyed. 5 heroes are alive right now for MSI, so for K2.Apes, maybe they will decide to fall back. I think they still have a fresh BKB. Yeah, it's still 10 seconds right now on the Gyrocopter. They'll smoke up instead, looking for that Blink Echo. And Piano Man, he's not letting himself be known just yet, but now the smoke breaks. So they know that someone is somewhere, and Piano Man, oh, now he shows himself. Bad timing. Bad fissure, though. Blink Echo Slam onto Boombacks. Piano Man still in a lot of trouble. Will get missiled out of his TP. He's guaranteed to fall even with Boombacks' help, especially if this call down connects. Kaboom! There goes the Drow Ranger. BKB being popped on Haruni, not exactly an ideal cast there, but still they do get the Drow Ranger, and they're looking for a little bit more. With the Drow Ranger down, everyone's damage output plummets, and therefore it'll really be hard for MSI to actually hold this tier 2.
Top tower is under attack.
I think this is the weakness of MSI's draft. If they didn't have an advantage and have just those key items on their heroes, I think this is where their draft has just completely fallen off. It's a one-trick pony. They're relying on a Drow Ranger, but the fact that even the Drow Ranger can't get enough farm to boost the team up, it just feels like this is probably going to be the end of the draft, unless they can maybe get a clutch team fight, kill 3 heroes from 2K, maybe only lose 1 in the process, and maybe they can start accumulating those items again, but it's just not looking good at all. Their draft, because they're lacking items, it's killing it for them.
I don't think there's been a single fight either where the Shadow Fiend gets stunned. Like, he's always able to blink in, he always has pretty good spacing, and the Lion is always the first one to die. So the few stuns that MSI do have, well, they're just not available because Wen is doing his job to a T. So if they actually do get a single stun on the Shadow Fiend, they definitely have enough right-click damage to kill him off, even though he may have a Yule Scepter. So there is a lot of potential here still on the MSI side. Just the fact that Lion can't really tap into it is really making things troublesome for them. If he had a Blink Dagger, then I could definitely see MSI getting right back into this game off of just 1, 2, 3 easy kills off of a Blink Hex. But because he's not anywhere close to that item, in fact, he's going to get jumped by Kittle right now, he is not going to be able to contribute those disables in any significant way. He's spotted by the flare, he's hiding in the Roche Pit. Kittle, well, he may not get this kill super easily because here comes a Tombstone, which will force everyone away from Cast. But there's still a Shadow Fiend in the area looking for maybe a Raise Snipe. No, Wen's going to get dropped out of mana. Fucking Sleepy. Getting a Force Staff in for a Shackle. That will not connect. Piano Man looking for a Gust, which will connect on Wen, slowing him down barely. Fissure, again, not going to do anything. And now they jump forward looking for Kittle. Sonic Wave is there. Shake her down. Now onto Wen. They're going to try to go Shackle Shot with the right-click damage of the entire team. Wen is also going to fall. 3-man Static Storm with a really nice Requiem. Double Raise is going to get a Wicked 6 tree for Aji. Now looking towards Saber. Blink out will keep her alive. Call down, going to connect onto no one, but they do get the glimpse back onto Saber. Now he's going to run to the south. She has a blink out if she can survive the raise. No, not in time. It's going to be a 2 for 2, but that is pretty much exactly what I described. Finally, it's MSI to get some form of initiation on the K2.Apes, but even at this point, it's looking like it may be too late.
Yeah, this is really too late for them. They need a lot more than this. They need more kills. Sleepy is only sitting on a 4-star and base boots, and that is very very poor for a core Wind Ranger. He's going to try and jump onto RJ though. Can he actually get anything from this? They already popped down the tombstone. They're going to try and go onto Haruni though. He's actually very tanky, but it looks like he will finally go down with Piano Man really laying the arrows into him. And then we have RJ by himself. We taking out in Crystal Land. They're only going to be thrown onto 3 heroes as well as creeps though. And well, Kittle, I think that may have been a misplay because you are going to lose your life. Vegeta on the other hand, he's going to TP out, but why even jump on a disruptor when you could just kill off the Earthshaker?
I think the Earthshaker just like panic smoked instead of using his stick charges there. So, I mean, the stick wouldn't have saved him, granted, but still throwing a smoke down the tubes as well. That is the fight that I described for MSI. That is pretty much exactly it. They finally get initiation on their own terms. It's on a gyrocopter, no less. It was a little bit of a weird initiation because it was Sleepy missing a shackle shot, but while they were distracted by the Wind Ranger, Lion had a chance to land a 2-man spike. Granted, it's only level 3 for some reason. It's supposed to be level 4 at this stage, but still landing a 2-man spike connecting on the Gyro and Shadow Fiend, that is the dream scenario for MSI. If they can keep doing that, yeah, they'll be in a great position, but it doesn't look good for Cast right now. He gets the Hex off, he's not attacking the Cogs, he gets the Spike off as well. Force Staff out, he gets survive for a little while longer. Sleepy can get a mini stun onto Wen. They don't have any way of canceling his TP. Silence is a pushback. I don't know technically what it is, but it doesn't cancel TPs, that's the bottom line. And now it's Saber up towards top, fighting with Haruni. Going to get a little bit of damage traded. That will not result in the kill there, but they clearly have enough damage to right click down the likes of Shadow Fiend and the Gyrocopter. They have to make sure to open up correctly on them. It's still a delicate game, however, for MSI.
So we've got a little stat here. So he did manage to finish BKB without dying, however, making it a minute faster. So that's really good stuff for the Shadow Fiend. So RJ, well, he's rich, pretty much. Summary of the stat, he is very, very rich. But so even with these items though, let's take a look at our Shadow Fiend. He has built a lot of utility as well as survivability and mobility items. Where's the late game potential in RJ? He's going to have to build damage sometime soon. He cannot rely on the Requiem. He's going to pop the Requiem onto this Wind Ranger, who he will survive for a little bit longer, but never mind, going to be popped by the Magical Burst. And well, unfortunately, Boomback's going to be a bit of a different story. He's just going to be completely decimated. Because they're completely disconnecting K2 from getting another kill, but I don't think it really matters. It's 2 heroes down. One has buyback, but they could just go down, take the T2 tower, and leave. There's no way for MSI to contest.
There's no hook shot, but still just the fear of Glimpse and the fear of just blink Yules from the Shadow Fiend. To no Requiem, granted, but is dangerous enough. Cast spotted by Kittle right now. This is an Earthshaker with a Blink Dagger who doesn't even need it. Fissure finally going to connect properly. They glimpse him back so that Shadow Fiend can't get the kill, but Shaker gets it instead. That's a Lion down. They're bleeding out heroes right now for MSI, and getting initiated upon again is not really what they wanted to see. And Haruni actually has an Invis rune, and they may see Piano Man. Oh, Drow. You are feeling so comfortable right now, especially with your TP coming in, but there's a call down waiting for you and Boombacks. They're not going to go in on this? That's actually really surprising. I guess they don't have their Earthshaker, but still, they had the initiation edge. They had the element of surprise.
There's a BKB on Piano Man, so it is still a bit of a scary situation to go into a Drow with BKB. Like, even though you're going to be getting rid of his extra damage, there is still a chance that he can get out of there and blow up the clockwork. So instead they're just going to go for Roshan instead, and looks like K2, they should know this. Actually, they don't even have Observer Ward, so they don't even know the Rosh is happening, but even if they do try and make their way down right now, Roshan would be down by then anyway. So second Roshan of the game, going in the way of MSI yet again, and it's probably going to go in the way of Piano Man too. What do they want to do with the Aegis this time? Last time they tried to go for a push and it didn't work out. Do you think they're going to farm, or do you feel like this is going to be their confidence boost to go for another push?
No, pushing right now is a mistake for MSI because that forces K2.Apes into a position where they know exactly where the enemies are, therefore they can get the initiation off on their own terms, and it's so hard to initiate with MSI's lineup, especially when they're in a 5-man squad. They have 2 smokes, one on the Undying, one on the Lion. They should use them. Maybe at this point, like right after Roshan, that may be a little bit too obvious, so shove the lane a little bit, then back off and smoke should be the play for them. But while they are thinking about what to do, while they're going for this push, yeah, they do a lot of damage to the tower. Maybe they'll be able to take it out by the time K2.Apes get here, but K2.Apes now have a really good angle on MSI. Boonbacks and Cast, they're smoked up in the background. That'll be blown by Aji, who is set to teleport in right into the BKB, looking for the Requiem. That'll insta-kill the Undying, plus do a lot of damage to the other two heroes in the back lines. The tower is still alive right now as they're going to drop Wen awfully quickly, but now Piano Man, he has the Aegis, but what is it going to do for him right now? He's dead. Saber is going to get away, but there's 0% chance that the Gyro Ranger actually survives right now. She has a BKB, but the Gyrocopter doesn't care, the Shadow Fiend doesn't care, and as prescribed, the straight-up push is not going to be a good thing for the MSI side. They take a tier 2 tower and a 1-for-4 trade in favor of K2. Now it's K2 on the crackback. There's a bottom lane tier 1 and tier 2 to take, and those two should fall. Actually, maybe a tier 2 mid lane will fall instead, but either way, structures are going to start falling for the Dire side, and that was a super bold move to make. Like, I don't know what they were expecting was going to happen, but it was probably going to just be that in the end.
That was the second time they've done it this game as well. First time with the Aegis, exact same thing happened. So I think they're just feeling too confident with an Aegis. An Aegis, it's only going to help one player, and a lot of the times, K2 are killing almost the entire MSI draft, and MSI is getting almost nothing out of it. So I think they just have to tone it down a little bit, play more safely. They can come back. They do have potential to fight up against K2's draft in the late game, but they need to give themselves some time to do so. So it's probably going to be on the back of smoke gank so that they can make more space for their heroes to farm up those items and hopefully get some gold from those kills, and just draw the game out a little bit longer. Yes, you are going into a Shadow Fiend and a Gyrocopter into the late game, but if your Wind Ranger and your Drow can have items of either equivalent value or even close to that value, then maybe they have a better chance in actually fighting, because MSI, they've been dropping like flies, and they have no way to counterplay that unless they have the same tools to do so, but your Lion's not going to get a Blink Dagger. No way.
He had like 900 gold, but now he doesn't. And
he had.
Kittle, he's stalking a Queen of Pain right now. He has no Echo Slam, but with the stun combo with the rest of the team coming in, this could be a kill if he goes right now. Hook shot in. That's the first stun. Then the Enchant Totem, push back to Fissure, and Shadow Fiend's damage. It's a very easy kill on Queen of Pain. No longer can MSI defend their towers. Without their full 5-man team, they don't really stand much of a chance. Even with everyone getting plus 60, or everyone who's ranged getting plus 60 from the Gyro Ranger, which actually no plus 65 now, that's a substantial amount of damage for the entire team, but they're all glass cannons. So you have a whole bunch of glass cannons, you line them up, yeah, they may fire off, or they may just misfire, and then they'll all just destroy each other. That's probably not the best metaphor, but you guys can just deal with it anyway. There's an MKB on the Gyrocopter. This is a really good tool at smashing those smaller, softer heroes. They also have another hook shot in just 12 seconds. If that hook shot connects, then K2.Apes just win the fight. Oh, they actually catch a shackle onto Aji, doing a lot of damage to the Shadow Fiend, and now they deal with the Gyrocopter right in the middle of everything with the call down, and the Rocket Barrage onto Piano Man. They get the Requiem. That's going to burst down Sleepy immediately, plus Boomback's not looking too healthy either. He's going to get glimpsed back to a Static Storm. He's down. Piano Man trying to race the entire team. That's not going to work out. Blink Echo Slam can get the final kill. As a full 5-man wipe, and now Raxes are in trouble. Yeah, again, no Queen of Pain, no fight, but even if Queen of Pain was there, she wouldn't have done anything. That's a GG called, and looks like the admin messed up the score tabs, guys. This is going to tie up the series 1-1.
That was a draft problem. Full stop. Draft problem from MSI. They went for a draft based around the Drow Ranger for the plus damage, so you want to have all of your lanes win. You want the Queen of Pain to win, you want the Drow to win, you want the Wind Ranger to win. But even if you win the lanes and you end up having a game like that, where those heroes can't get off the ground, you're never going to get off the ground. Especially with the way that K2 was playing. They were just going around as a team, just team fighting after team fight after team fight. And even with the Aegis and MSI just getting a little bit too confident, they still lost the team fight. I think it was a draft problem overall. They had no one to sit in the front lines.
Kind of on autopilot, I feel. They had so many like very clear things to do. It's like, oh, the enemies are pushing. Let's go kill them because we're so far ahead. We have a clockwork with hookshot. Let's just use it and get these kills. And for the MSI side, they made some really questionable decisions. Like, they got Aegis twice. Both times, the second time especially, it was just thrown away because there's no chance they actually take a fight without them getting initiation first. They had so much damage potential, but none of it actually came out because they were always getting initiated upon. I don't really think their draft could have been potentially a little bit better. They really needed a Clockwork-esque hero to start some fights for them. But even with that, their decision-making just wasn't up to snuff. They needed to not make those suicide calls. No duh, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think it was just a bit of overconfidence, and also just them thinking that they have the one game advantage. So maybe even if they lost this game, they thought maybe they can come back in the third game. Who knows? We don't even know what's going through these players' heads. But anyways, we'll jump into game 3, and we'll see if what team actually gets ahead this time.
Hopefully game 3 is going to be a decent one. This one was a little bit disappointing coming out from MSI. Guys, I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Danelie Casts, and of course we also have Petty on the stats as well. We'll all be right back for game 3 between K2.Apes and MSI. Don't go anywhere.